Yeah, sorry, I got a lot of papers on me. Can't be letting them blow away here in the indoor. But no, it's good to see everybody. We're back at it. Another NFC North challenge. This time, our first opportunity to go on the road in the division, playing against a team that I think is playing their best football right now. That is a really good football team. Can't say enough about how well coached they are. And their players really just, all three phases of the game. You turn on the tape, and it's not hard to head on a swivel around here. It's not hard to see why they've had the success they've had, and really been an ultra competitive team all season long with really good football out in front of them. So a really, really big time challenge for our team, and I think our guys understand that. The goal is just to, like it is every week, to go 1-0, and we'll worry about what that means when if we're able to go out there and make that happen against, like I said, a really good football team. Cam Dantzler and Ty Chandler will both return to practice today. Will be a little bit different format of practice as we get a little bit later on in the season here, but they will have a full week of practice, and both more than likely be available for the game. We'll see how Cam does with his ankle, so that's exciting for us. And then Ben Ellefson and Caleb Evans will both go on IR, both of which, with the rules, we'll see how they progress. But Ben did recently have a procedure, in that kind of groin, sports hernia, whatever you want to call it. Like I always try to confirm with you guys, I'm not a doctor, but I do know that he's all fixed up, and we'll be looking forward to get him back as soon as possible. And then I definitely want to make a note. We were able to announce as an organization Adam Thielen as our Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee. Between Adam and his wife Caitlin and the work they've done with the Thielen Foundation, got a chance to be there Monday night to present him the award, and one of the cooler things I've gotten to do early on here as a head coach with, quite honestly, one of the players that I've relied so heavily on, one of our captains, one of our core leaders, and has so much to do with our success on the field, but also the importance of what we want to be as an organization off the field. Adam and Caitlin and their family and the great people at the Thielen Foundation have done a fantastic job and really set the standard. And I'll be really rooting for him to hopefully win that award, because I think he deserves it.
Kevin, just Evans with another concussion. Maybe you could go into a little bit more detail on what's going on with the concussion area and how to see that.
Yeah, and I think at this point, Chris, talking timetable and games and things like that, it's a possibility that we'll have him with the rules the way they are to possibly rejoin us. But I think first things first, the number one thing is just a daily, a daily kind of watch by us as an organization, making sure that one of our young players we feel very strongly about is, feeling like we're wrapping our arms around him and helping him in any way we can. He's feeling pretty good. It's not like there's there's no real concerns long term other than player health and safety. I don't just it really does. I do mean it when I say it, guys. That's the number one priority for anybody, regardless of injury, but especially with head injuries. That I'll always stand up and be consistent on. Darisaw's still in the protocol. You guys will. He'll be out here working and progressing through that. As he hopefully works through those phases, then we'll have a conversation when that time comes about his availability for this week and moving forward. But CD's in a good spot. He's attending all meetings, and he'll be out here with his teammates today getting some work, and just part of the phasing of working his way back.
Kevin, you guys have players that get multiple concussions. What is that process like as a coach of saying, we pull it way back here and say, let's make this a recovery process when it gets to be the second one?
I think it's hard to have a standard operating procedure other than listening to the medical experts, our trainers, and treating each situation as its own, understanding that we're always going to err on the side of caution. What a timetable looks like, I don't really know. I feel very strongly that the way the protocols are set up, once we get through those, and then we have conversations about timetables and what that looks like for the short term, and then ultimately when we get that player back. And it's something that just as a league, 32 teams, all of us in this league have a responsibility, and we have to take that very seriously for our players with those types of things.
How you sit down with coaches, you two by yourself, and how important is that time clarifying that relationship that you guys have?
Yeah, it's weekly. You know, when we can, short weeks. We'll always tend to do it towards the actual game. Once the game plan's in, he has input on all game plans, how they kind of carve themselves out and shape up. I always want to have dialogue with him, whether it doesn't always have to be in person. I'm calling him, FaceTiming, and hey, this is what we're thinking of doing. Do you like this? This is what we're trying to take advantage of. This is the look. Hey, did you see that clip? And then we have great dialogue, so that there's really no surprises. And then ultimately, his ownership of it has been what I've been most excited about, and that comes with those conversations, and really giving him the input to have a say in what we want to do as an offense. And then ultimately his ownership allows those other 10 guys to play with that quieted mind at ease, because they know that our leader out there is completely dialed in.
Can you explain the challenges of playing a conference game on the road? I know we see every year in the NFL, teams can be separated by 5 or 6 wins, but yet it's a close game, in a conference game. So can you explain the challenges that you guys face this weekend playing?
Yeah, conference games for sure. I think divisional games, these players know each other well. They have competed against each other, and regardless of the outcome of any previous game, I really don't think any of that matters. Each individual opportunity, 3.5-hour window, are going to present their own challenges. The bounce of a ball, turnovers, penalties, things that we obviously coach really hard to avoid. But every single time you go out there as a team, it's going to be different. It's going to feel different. How good can we be with the things that we can control? Our execution level, communication in the noise. I'm expecting a heck of a home environment for the Lions there. They've got a lot of good things going right now, a lot to be excited about. And I feel like we'll feel that as an offense with our execution. So anytime you go on the road, any Sunday in this league, there's going to be challenges, especially when we play with such a great home field advantage ourselves. But you got to treat each one as its own and the challenges that they present. And that's what we coach towards, trying to help our guys, be in the best possible situations to have success.
What's it like on a personal level to play all these close games? A way of unwinding? Is it difficult just to get sleep that night?
That's a really great point. I end up playing out a lot of scenarios, post game, thinking about play calls and decisions that I make or we make as a team, and ultimately it's you'd like to think call it unwinding, but it's just early on for me in year one. I just don't want to miss an opportunity to improve and be better for these guys, and find ways to continue messaging to our players and our leadership of how we can be at our best and continue to improve. We've talked a lot this week about we're still hunting that consistent four-quarter performance that doesn't necessarily, I think sometimes people want it to equal scoreboard points, and it just makes sense to everybody. It's not always going to make sense, but in the end, if we do the little things well and we rely on our team we've built, philosophies we've built, and then a lot of the little things that we coach really hard and our players own from a standpoint of how to win in this league, I think that's what I'm looking for. Complete means a lot of things to a lot of different people, but I think it's still out there for us. Yeah, he's the tight end position, and having a player like TJ allows you to have the ability to manipulate some formations and get matchups depending on how they want to cover Justin and Adam and KJ and Jalen Reagor and our backs. The tight end position just provides you a resource that allows you to win, have some matchup advantages. And then he's a really, really good player, and just his skill set to catch the football, get open and catch the football. Bill Belichick said it best when, receiver or tight end's job in the passing game is to get open and catch the ball, and he's proven to do that in this league. And we just try to give him opportunities to do things that he's comfortable doing, that he's had success doing. And that happens to be a lot of things, which makes it fun as a coach.
Do you think you'll ever have him and Herb together this year?
I think we will, and that's a great point. That's a great point. Yeah, I just think that gives you some personnel grouping flexibility in addition to Johnny Munt and C.J. Ham, where you can line up a lot of different ways regardless of who's in the game. There's no rule that says when you've got a fullback in, he's got to be in the backfield. There's no rule that says when you've got two tight ends in, they've got to be in the core in the line of scrimmage. So the versatility of being able to play the game a lot of different ways is something that's I very much we're doing currently, but hopefully when we can get Irv back, and he's doing a great job every single day. Meetings, rehab, he's in the mix with our guys. He's been phenomenal. It's different just because you think about his role that he played for them, and we've having gone through preparation when he was on their team. He was a major part of what we talked about defensively, and they've gotten so much production out of St. Brown and all of their skill players, their backs, their other tight ends, and then I think Jared Goff's had a phenomenal year. When you really watch how he's able to consistently play the position at a high level, I think they've done a great job on offense. I really do. It's funny you say that. We were, I was showing some clips to the team meeting or in the offensive install, and it could be a clip from week 1 or 2 or training camp. And I think Wes Phillips said it best. He said, that feels like it was 3 years ago. And it tends to feel like that as fast as things move, and I'm sure you guys feel it too. The nature of just the weekly rhythm that happens in the NFL. It does feel like we've accomplished a lot of what we wanted to do here from day one. I can remember being in this indoor with you guys with a suit on, talking about a lot of things, but I think we've been able to put a lot of those things into motion, and I just hope our players feel the ultimate goal every single day, which is to help them be at their best and be the best versions of themselves collectively and also individually.
What's your level of optimism? What's your level of optimism on
We got you.
Cam Dancer?
Yeah. I think first and foremost, I think he needs to lock in. I know he feels really good medically, but then you got to go on the grass and you got to do it, and you got to prepare yourself to play at a high level against a lot of really good players from Detroit. So the good news is we've got a full week of kind of work, and he's been working kind of in the background. While he was on that short-term IR, they can't be out practicing, but they can be in meetings. They can get work in. We've got a lot of great folks in the sports performance side that get these guys prepared. So I have a lot of confidence in Cam, and we'll just see how he feels throughout the week.
In the spring when you guys made
Yeah, we were big fans of Jameson, and it's hard not to be just studying his tape in college. And you knew he would be able to come off that injury, and he's going to have a huge impact on their team, and will moving forward. But I just think it all goes back to Kwesi and I had that dialogue we had before the draft, leading into and during, quite honestly. There were no surprises, nothing we hadn't really talked about ahead of time, and just following through with the plan of how we want to kind of competitively reload and rebuild, in addition to making sure the players that we were lucky enough to have when we got here feel like we're pouring everything we got into those guys as well. So it's a daily thing. I'm lucky to be able to work with him on a daily basis, and that's something that I'm really excited and happy that I get to tell you guys honestly. Thanks, guys.